Welcome outside Gillette Stadium, everybody. My name is Mike Petraglia, joined as always by Patriots expert columnist for WEEI.com, Christopher Price. Chris, I think it's safe to say this, unlike any preparatory day that the Patriots have ever had in the numerous times they have gone to the Super Bowl in the Bill Belichick era, obviously that would be 6 times, they have never had a day like they had here at Gillette Stadium on Thursday. Bill Belichick took the podium at 9:30, or just after 9:30, to talk about what he knew, or specifically did not know, about Deflategate. He said he knew nothing. He was informed of nothing. The first he heard about it was Monday morning. That didn't surprise me, but when Tom Brady took the podium a little bit after 4:15 Eastern time, and he said he had known nothing and had not even been contacted by the NFL some 4 days later, that surprised me.
That's really the biggest thing. One of the biggest things you take away from this, that 4 or 5 days into this, Brady has not been contacted by the league. After we heard from the league earlier in the week, they said they wanted to get this thing wrapped up as soon as possible, 2 or 3 days in. Now we're facing a turnaround time here where everyone's heading out to Arizona in a couple of days.
Right.
And it's going to be a much bigger stage than we saw earlier today. You know, the media workroom here at Gillette was packed, but we're getting out to the Super Bowl week. And Super Bowl week, the circus is in town. And you're going to get every reporter from every outlet across the country, not only nationally, but internationally, asking Bill Belichick, asking Tom Brady about this. This is a story right now that's not going to go away.
Okay, now, Bill Belichick said early on Monday and Tuesday, we will fully cooperate with the league. The NFL and Tom Brady announces on Thursday they haven't contacted him. That would lead me to believe one thing, that the NFL is, if Brady's claim is true, that they're letting them twist in the wind until the Patriots acknowledge something happened on the sideline in the first half with 11 of those 12 regulation offensive balls.
I wonder what they're trying to do. I do think that there is something to the idea that they're letting them twist in the wind a little bit. I'm curious to know the thought process of the league throughout this investigation, because we do know that it is an ongoing investigation. People have been contacted. Troy Vincent from the NFL office has said as much, that they're in the midst of an ongoing probe. But at the same time, you would think that the central character in this, Tom Brady, has not been contacted yet. So it's going to be interesting again to see how all of this continues to play itself out. But it doesn't look like there's going to be a conclusion here anytime soon.
Tom Brady emphasizing very passionately, I did not alter the balls. He is sticking to that, and that is going to be the Patriots story that they stick, or at least Tom Brady is going to stick to. I wrote on WEEI.com that Bill Belichick, I think in no uncertain terms, if you read between the lines, really, threw this one right in Tom Brady's lap. And we all expected, I think, going into that Brady presser on Thursday afternoon, for Brady to kind of fall on the sword. Mm-hmm. You and me were talking about that off camera, and that's not what happened. I still am very surprised he did not do that.
I agree, and it's interesting it was interesting to see his reaction. First of all, you're talking about a guy who's very comfortable in front of the media, who's very comfortable in front of reporters over the course of his career, looked a little shaken coming out.
I think right away he was quivering in his very first answer. I mean, it's, you know, that may be hyperbole a little bit, but he looked a little shaken.
He did, and I thought it was an interesting choice for him to, instead of making a statement, to start with questions. And we were in there for almost a half an hour, roughly a half an hour or so, and he was very open about what he thought. There was no sense of, when he was up there was no sense that he was concealing anything. He was straightforward, he was honest. He said, look, I never altered the footballs. Someone asked him if he was a cheater. He said, I'm not a cheater. This is the way it happened. He laid out the timeline. It's going to be curious to see, in terms of believability, particularly when it comes to Park Avenue, when it comes to the league office, how far they go with his word.
And if you're wondering if Tom Brady told the ball boys or the equipment managers, wink, wink, please take care of the balls, after they've been checked in by Walt Anderson, the game official, he said, no, I asked the equipment people, and they told me, nope, we didn't do anything. And his quote was, I believe them. So if you believe Brady and you believe him talking to the equipment managers, the Patriots didn't do anything untoward after the balls were checked in. And I guess we look long range, and that's our job, is to look forward now. And the Patriots are trying to get ready for the biggest game of the year, the Super Bowl. They are trying to really cement their legacy. Belichick and Brady become 4-time winners of the Super Bowl. Brady starting his 6th Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history. That is occurring, and they've got to deal with this. We have to face the specter now, Chris, that the Patriots are going to have to deal with this for the next 10 days. And The question I guess I have for you, do they have the intestinal fortitude and the character in that locker room, they say they do, to really pull it off?
We've seen this team a lot over the last year plus, to my mind, and I'm including the 2013 team in there as well, the 2014 team. It's a mentally tough group, and we've seen them overcome a lot over the last years. I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome this. At the same time, nobody rallies, nobody circles the wagons like Bill Belichick. Nobody looks for real.
Nobody closes ranks, really.
Exactly. Nobody does a better job, using either perceived or real bulletin board material than the Patriots. We were in there a couple of weeks ago before the Baltimore game,
right,
and there were headlines. There were negative headlines on the wall, on the screen, wondering about the overall fitness of this team. You have been handed a gift, I think, if you're Belichick, in a really weird roundabout way,
yep,
that could be provided that no bulletin board material that could come from the Seahawks would even begin to match this. Belichick walks into the locker room and says, everyone thinks you cheated. Everyone thinks
right,
that you guys are dirty. What are you going to do about it? I'm not saying it's going to be a 56-10 Super Bowl, but we all saw what happened in 2007 when that team was able to rally and pull off a 16-0 season, almost pull off a perfect season. Again, I'm fascinated to see how this team is going to respond going forward. If they're going to kind of collapse on themselves or if they're going to rally. We know history tells us more often than not, this team rallies, this team circles the wagons better than anyone.
In 2007, when Spygate broke after the Jets opener and all of the Eric Mangini garbage came to the surface, Patriots went out and obliterated the San Diego Chargers. Can that happen again now on the football's greatest stage? We both of us were in that Patriots locker room on Thursday. I talked to Jonas Gray, and he told me we do things the right way all the time, always. And I believe in my teammates. Talked to Matthew Slater. He said, we are not going to be distracted by this. Bill has trained us. Bill has programmed us to block out the noise. I know you spoke to a couple of players as well on Thursday. What did they tell you?
It's the same thing. They're moving forward. They're looking forward. They're not focused on this. There was some lightheartedness even in the locker room about it, talking to Rob Ninkovich, Vince Wilfork earlier in the week, those defensive guys saying, look, I don't touch footballs. I just tackle guys. So I think that they're looking at this with a proper perspective, at least right now. I want to see how everything starts to, when they start to turn up the heat a little bit, especially, once again, on the bigger stage, how this team reacts.
Well, I think the conclusion I draw from this, that the Patriots and maybe even the NFL are prepared to have this hanging over the Super Bowl for the next 10 days. Deflategate, get used to it. You're going to keep reading about it. It's not going away anytime soon, especially if what Tom Brady told us on Thursday afternoon is the truth. So we'll be here to cover it. Christopher Price, outside Gillette Stadium. I'm Mike Petraglia, WEEI.com.